And we are back. Hey, guess what? It is time for the Jerry Hinkle program. I am Jerry Hinkle. This is my program. The reason why so many people hate Mondays, they hated last Monday a little less because I wasn't here. Now, I was back home with my relatives, and I cussed up a storm, and I used up all the lemon juice, and those of you who are regular viewers of the show know what I'm talking about. So we got a new sponsor, Real Lime Juice, and we're going to see if lime juice can get me to speechifying any more cleanly. Let's try it out. We got a new damn sponsor. Oh, I got to take a shot of lime juice. This is going to take a little getting used to. Let's try that again. Oh, that's not so bad. I might have to get some lemon juice. Ooh. Okay, well, it's like I say, the name of this episode is Jerry is Too Political. And a lot of folks have said that over the years. And I'm going to give you a little background as to why there is so much. I know the cardinal rule of being popular is never to discuss politics, religion, NFL, or Ford versus Chevy. There's always someone going to fight you on those issues. Anyhow, so you get to start on one of those issues. Well, it all started 40 years ago. It was the summer that I turned 9 in July of 1976. I went over to my granddad's house, granddad and my grandma, like I usually did back in the 70s. I spent a lot of time over there in the 70s for some reason. And we can explore that later on, I suppose. But they happen to be watching the Democratic National Convention, or the Democrat National Convention. Now, my granddad calls it the Democrat Party, and some people think of that as a put down. If you knew my granddad, you know he wasn't putting down the Democrat Party when he said Democrat Party. Moving on, he was watching they had this at the time I was there. They was doing these interviews, different people talking about at the convention who they're supporting and why. And this one little old lady, well, middle-aged lady at the time, she said that she was supporting Jimmy Carter because he was a peanut farmer and everybody loves peanuts. And I laughed and I said, well, I don't like peanuts. And Granddad turned over and looked at me and said, you like peanut butter? And well, of course, you did not argue with Granddad unless you was in there for the duration, because he wasn't going to give up. So, and of course, he was right. I did love me some peanut butter back in 1976, and I still do. I can afford, now that I'm older and got a good job, where I'm making $12.40 an hour at a certain retail establishment that shall remain nameless, I'm able to afford the best quality peanut butter, which I'm not going to need. Maybe next week I'll get a jar of that, and we'll have that be our sponsor. Anyhow, and I got a feeling we're already at 4 minutes, so we might have to go to a full 10 minutes to say all that I got to say. But we got to catch up from last week. Anyhow, so Carter. So I started at 9 years old. I decided to become a Carter supporter. And now that I look back, just because I like peanut butter was a silly reason to support some dude for president. And but sure enough, he got the nomination. And I remember the day, election day, when they was counting up the votes. We was watching MASH, as we usually did on Tuesday night, and they kept interrupting MASH because this state was going for Carter, this state was going for Ford, and so it was it was kind of hard to watch MASH when they kept interrupting. They never interrupt during the commercials. You ever notice that? If CBS ever interrupts their broadcasting during a commercial, you know something bad is going to hit the fan. You know what I mean? Anyhow, so, and it was the episode where BJ had joined 4077 MASH, and before he got to the camp, they found some wounded, and he got kind of a rough introduction to the Korean War. Anyhow, so that was how that all turned out. And of course, when it come 10 o'clock, and they still hadn't decided who was going to be the new president. Well, I was, this was around, I think MASH was at 8 o'clock Central Time, or Hollywood time, back in 1976. So I'm not sure, but they didn't have it decided. The election was not decided by 10 o'clock, which was my traditional bedtime back in 1976. And boy, I didn't get a whole lot of sleep, but I did go to bed, being a good boy. Next morning, when I got up for breakfast, I was ready to get up for breakfast, and I remember my dad telling me that Carter made it, and boy, I was real happy. I was all happy, 9-year-old back then, and I was rather pleased with myself. And later on, I got glasses. I had to get glasses, and between election day and inauguration. As a matter of fact, the 20th of January of 1977, the day Carter was inaugurated, I got my new glasses, and these, of course, well, those were my old glasses. These are my new glasses, but I didn't. I got these later on, but anyhow. So, and he had a rough 4 years, Carter did, and by the end of it, I got to thinking, something. By the time I was, 9 years old, so about 1980, I was around 13 years old. I think, just because a dude grows peanuts don't mean he's a good president. So, and he had rough, he did the best he could, to the. I think when you swear in, you're supposed to defend to the best of your ability to defend, direct the Constitution of the United States. However, anyhow, that's how that all come about. And so, but that was my introduction. Politics was the 1976 election and Jimmy Carter and all that. And I have kind of picked politicians from both parties, and sometimes they win, sometimes they lose, and you gotta. But I think if Carter had lost back in 1976 and Ford had been elected, I would have probably been a little more disillusioned with politics and would not have followed it so closely. As a matter of fact, I saw something on Facebook, how they bring back all the old posts from a certain date. And one of the memories that they shared with me was the time I had eulogized Senator McGovern as someone who inspired my interest in politics, and I said, if only he had inspired me into something worthwhile. And well, that's the way it goes. Anyhow, so we got a couple weeks to this coming election. Let's hope that the best man wins, and yes, the best man. Yeah. All right, whatever. Anyhow, that's all I have to say for this week. And if you got something to say about this episode, be sure and say it, because I probably deserve it. So God be with you. Do the best you can. And hey, get out of my bathroom.